Und damit willkommen zurück zu The Great Ace Attorney Results 2 Chronicles, meine Lieben. Wir waren hier stehen geblieben und er wollte alles erklären. Mal schauen, was er dazu zu sagen hat, I guess. Mal schauen. I'll tell you just how wretched my life has become. As you say, it was 10 years ago. Know that my employment as Barclay chief warder came to an end. Having left the prison service, I searched for some new occupation, my which to earn a wage. But times were hard in London, and I found no suitable engagements at all. In desperation, so one day I turned my hand at selling wares on Fresno Street. But your wife appears to know nothing of this. She still maintains that you are the chief warder at Barclay Prison. I was utterly determined that my wife should not knowing of my failings, which is why I've never told her. I opened an account at the bank under the name of Hugh Bone, and I rented the cheapest room I could find on Fresno Street. The sense of the very crime we're investigating. Yes, that's right. A place from which I could emerge every morning at 8 as a quiet peddler and transform myself back every evening at 5 into a well-dressed man about town before returning home. That quite became my daily routine. A puzzle by the lack of fortune at the room. But that explained it. But why on earth didn't you just tell us this in the first place? I have a wife, sir, and 2 sons, and without wishing to sound self-conceited, they regard me with some pride. I couldn't bring myself to disappoint them. So instead you decided to conceal your occupation from them. Yes. I've made such a terrible mess of everything. Still, one thing doesn't add up. No matter how many tidbits of information you could sell to passing gentlemen, even at 6 pence a piece, you could hope to match the salary you must have accumulated as chief warder at the prison. Very true. To have kept your family in comfort and despite 10 years of somewhat misbegotten employment. That was all thanks to Inspector Gregson. What? Inspector Gregson, what on earth? It was some years after I'd invented Bone. Began my other life as a street seller. He, the inspector that is, recognized me one day. Do you mean to say the victim was an acquaintance of yours? I knew him from my time working at the prison. When he saw what I become, he was deeply troubled for me and my family, and from that day forward he visited me on Fresno Street with increasing regularity. Then one day he asked me if I would carry out a secret assignment for him. A secret? What was it? I was to impersonate the inspector. What? Impersonate him? Impersonate. Achso, imitieren, das ist ihn imitieren. We always meet in that little room, so the inspector could brief me. Visit our keys tomorrow and take statement from the proprietress. It was always something along those lines. Surveillance work, interviewing people. On those occasions, he would lend me this identification, so people would believe who I was. Also irgendwie habe ich immer das Gefühl, wenn er die Animation macht und sich die Hände hier anlegt, will er immer seinen Kopf umdrehen und sich quasi umbringen. Irgendwie assoziiere ich das damit. Auch wenn das jetzt nicht stimmen mag, aber irgendwie spielt das bei mir irgendwie gerade ein bisschen verrückt dabei, meine Vorstellung damit. Dementsprechend, das mag nicht so stimmen, aber das ist so die Assoziation, die ich damit habe. Dementsprechend sagen wir das mal so, wie es ist. Dementsprechend, my introductions were to make an impression, to let people know that Inspector Crookston had been at work. And for service, he compensated me financially. Scott and the other inspector willingly relinquish his identification into your care with intent to disguise that, as I'm sure I need not point out, is a very serious criminal offense. But why? What was the point of impersonating him? I truthfully do not know. All I can say is that the inspector wanted me on numerous occasions. Now remember, Virgil, I need your solvent word. You don't blab about this to anyone already ever. Even if, if I end up a croaker. Das ist halt schon wieder Croaker heiße. Croaker. Er weiß die Sprache, weiß ja nicht, was ich damit anfangen soll. Das wird zwar verschiedenes, aber ja, vielleicht hat es etwas mit dem Satzbau zu tun. Ich ändere jetzt als Umba. Also dann immer meistens teilweise immer an Wortbedeutung. Umba. Für verschiedene Fische aus dafür. Ich hätte jetzt Fisch gemeint. Also dementsprechend immer dann teilweise mal sehr abhängig dann davon, in welchem Kontext dann das ganze Sachverhalt ist. Muss man sagen. Dementsprechend bin ich auch sehr vorsichtig. Ich weiß auch immer nicht alles, muss man sagen. In time he started to bring papers with him to the room as well. It becomes something of a second office for him. Also die Kamera fährt dann da drauf, das ist wirklich gut gemacht. So in fact, the person who declared himself to be Inspector Gregson at the park on Line Street was really, yes, it was me, acting on the inspector's orders. As usual, I removed my bone disguise and then went as instructed to the park armored with the inspector's identification book. If never occurred to me that the bruising on my neck might give me away. Oh boy. Oh Mann, oh Mann, oh Mann. Jetzt kann man zumindest da den ganzen Sachverhalt dahinter, I guess. Das ist aber immer noch die Frage, wer eigentlich der eigentliche Täter ist, der dann Tobias Gregson auf dem Gewissen hat. Well, it would seem his confusion completely destroys the defense case. Explain yourself, prosecutor Sogi. My learned friend's assertion was as follows. The victim was killed at another location and the day before his corpse is discovered at the hand of this two-red legal man when is imprisoned the inspector. But no, that can't be. After all, I wasn't the inspector who went to the park that day, it was me. Oh goodness. Finally we have clarity. We had nothing to do with the murder of the inspector. And mercy, Monsieur de la Défense, for proving it. Ja, es ist immer noch nicht zu Ende, meine Lieben. Damit noch ein bisschen. Werde ich mal behaupten. Order. Indeed, I would appear that we have reached a de facto conclusion of sorts. Vielleicht noch irgendwas nennenswerter Beweis, was wir überhaupt präsentieren könnten. Bitte. Ich hasse es. Eigentlich. Ich schaue bloß sicherheitshalber Preise mal nach, muss man sagen. Ich schaue bloß mal lieber nach, muss man sagen. Ja, ist klar. Vielleicht bringt er gerade noch was. Indeed, it would appear that we have reached all de facto conclusions of sorts. The witness has no involvement in the murder of the victim. Aber irgendwie muss man ihn doch noch damit reinbringen, das wieder. Also das ist so dafür muss man sagen, it's proven somewhat ironically by the defense. Das heißt, wir müssen jetzt eigentlich nur einen Spruch machen, oder wie soll ich das verstehen? I hurriedly call on into the cross-examination.
Hold it!
Pardon, my lord, but with your permission, I would like it pose on further question to the witness. Yes. What question console? It concerns the events of 10 years ago. I believe you would have been present at the very significant execution that was carried out at the time 10 years ago. The execution of the professor Genshin Azugi. Oh boy. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. I want to know exactly what your involvement was. Oh. Answer me, man. One moment, console. Is this related to the court case? Naturally. It is the prosecution's belief that this case, the events of 10 years ago, are inextricably linked. Does the defense concur? The consul, Kazuma, you are not yourself, you're not as calm and collected as usual. Poor Kazuma-sama. No wondering he's acting this way. The virtuous memories of what happened 10 years ago will tell the tale of Genshin Azugi last tells his own father. I do understand that, but when so prosecutor Azugi, do you genuinely believe that this question requires an answer in order to learn the truth behind Inspector Correction's death? I need you to trust me, please. Very well, then the defense has no objection. I see. In that case, you will answer the question, witness. The truth is, I remember very little of the time. You've forgotten? I'm so sorry, yes. As I said, I resigned from my role at the prison 10 years ago, but for some peculiar reason, my memory of the events leading up to that moment is extremely hazy. Does that not strike as you as strange, Mr. Naruhodo? Sorry, well, 10 years is a long time, but to have forgot the reason why he left such an important job. Yes, you are right. Okay, and not only that, Mr. Virtuous claim contractions with what we already know. The human spirit is a fragile thing, it's broken all too easily, which is why we have a tendency to wrap it up for protections. Sorry, the human spirit, ja, der menschliche Geist, muss man sagen. I'm afraid I don't understand what do you mean. When we experience pain and suffering that we feel unable to bear, we block it out, obliterate it from our memories, seal it away, but it never truly leaves us. If the seal is broken, the memories resurface, and when they do, that fragile spirit might finally be crushed. But I really don't. Asuma-sama. But if it must be crushed, then so be it, because the truth will not stay buried. It's coming out one way or another. Right now I understand. It's clearly what its intentions are. He means to expose the truth at any cost. Perhaps if I point out the contraction in what Mr. Virtue claimed earlier, made cause some crucial memories to return him, but should I present it evidence or not? Ich würde mal sagen, tun wir's. Mal schauen, ob uns das hinbringt, aber ich gehe mal ganz stark davon aus, dass sie jetzt auf diese Dismal-Notiz anspielen wollen. Sagen wir es mal so, wie es ist, muss man mal fairerweise sagen. Das wird das nennenswerterweise der Fall sein, dass es überhaupt so weit kommt, I guess. Also gehe ich zumindest davon aus, muss ich gestehen. I have no idea how this is going to go, but this is a court of law and I have a duty to press the truth. Mr. Virtual, I would like you to look at this evidence that clearly contradicts your version of events. Das kann eigentlich bloß das sein, weil alles andere spielt ja da keine nennenswerte Rolle, muss man gestehen. Sagen wir es mal so, just a few moments ago you made the following statement. I resigned from my role as a person 10 years ago. Du beschuldigt, well, yes. In other words, you claim to have left the post of chief orders of your own volitions. Sagen wir es mal so, wie es ist. Well, yes, of course, why? Dementsprechend, tell me, do you remember seeing this document before? No, I don't. This is a dismissal notice ordering the immediate termination of a personal staff member's employment. A dismissal notice, and the name on the notice is yours, Mr. Virtual. What? It's mine. But I said there's a very sure. Oh boy, so you didn't resign from the prison service at all? For some reason you dismissed a chief order from Barclay. No, there's been same mistake, I'm sure. I tendered my resignation. This dismal notice is nonsense, isn't it? If you weren't foreseeable, this here must have been good reason. Clearly, you did something. Mr. Virtual, it's time to break the seal and have you remember. According to the few remaining records, the final executing that you surprised was on 17th Juni 10 years ago. And on that day something very serious took place at Barclay Prison. The 17th of June was that the professor's execution? Professor, as you were the chief order at the time, it stands to reason that you would have been present throughout the proceedings. It does sound familiar, and yet that execution never took place. The convict ostensibly executed earlier that day later emerged from his grave. The convict came back to life in the cemetery in the middle of the night. There was a witness. However, the witness claims that a moment after he saw the convict clambering out of the grave, a gunshot rang out from over his shoulder, and the bullet pierced the professor, just killing him instantly. Those may have been the professor's actually last moments. Yes. Seeing as you were in charge of overseeing executions at the time, you must know the truth about that really happened. It's on your feet somewhere deep down. Ja, und ob wir seine Erinnerungen jetzt wieder bekommen oder inwiefern er sich noch nicht so ganz erinnern wird, dies und vieles mehr erfahren wir beim nächsten Mal. Vielen Dank fürs Einschalten und macht's bis dann gut. Auf Wiedersehen.